Hey guys, Prangell Gaming here, and today I'm going to be giving you a Millwall analysis video. Now today's Millwall analysis video is Millwall versus Shrewsbury. Now I've got to say, when we conceded the first goal, I honestly thought this game was going to take a turn for the worst, as we're not the best at performing against smaller sides, weaker sides in the league table, and obviously we did draw against Colchester, and I thought it was going to be exactly like that game. We were going to be on the back foot, they wanted it a bit more than us. And obviously the first chance I'm going to be talking about is actually the Shrewsbury goal. And I've got to say, it was far too embarrassing the way we conceded it, because they made it look far too easy to get through our defence. Not many teams have done that this season, mind you, but it was still a pretty nice goal if you're a Shrewsbury fan. As Agogo won the ball off of Sean Williams, he then played it through to a teammate who controlled the ball and then passed it through to Lionel Cole, who was in a one-on-one position, obviously, with Jordan Archer, and he just slotted that ball into the back of the net. He made it look far too easy. Obviously, it was then 1-0 to Shrewsbury. And as I said, a player like Lionel Cole could be a fantastic asset to a team, because the way he took that made it look like he wasn't even fazed by the chance he was actually playing against one of the key goalkeepers in the league at the moment. Ferguson then put the ball in from a corner, and it met with the head of Mark Beavers. Unfortunately, the chance wasn't fantastic, and it was saved easily by Hallerstad. If it had been a better chance, who knows what would have happened there. The ball then came in from a free kick that Ferguson took, and obviously that met with Sean Williams' head. And it was a pretty good chance actually, but it took a very good save from Hallerstad to stop that ball going in the back of the net and keeping it 1-0 to Shrewsbury in the first half. They were really the only real chances in the first half. It was a very poor half if you're a Millwall fan. We just struggled to get into the game. Now obviously the first chance I'm actually going to be talking about is the Millwall goal, the equaliser. Now, before we talk about what happened, I was complaining about Ben Thompson just before he actually hit the ball. I think a minute before I was saying that I really couldn't believe that he didn't have an impact in the game, because he's been our star player throughout most of the season. I've got to say, what a youngster he has turned into. He could definitely be one of those that could be a captain in the future. And now, what about the goal? Well, the corner came in from Ferguson. As soon as it got into the centre of the box, it was headed away by McGann. I think he's a defender for their team, but that doesn't really matter. As the ball then dropped onto the chest of Ben Thompson, he then controlled it and then hit it on the volley from 25 yards. And all I've got to say is, what a way to score Millwall's equaliser. What a goal by Ben Thompson. I'm so happy to have seen that goal. And I'm glad that I complained, because every time I complain, for some reason a player does really, really well. And obviously Thompson is our key player. Now, Millwall's next goal came actually from Chris Taylor crossing the ball in from a corner, and the ball meeting perfectly with the head of Steve Morison. Morison obviously climbed over Sadler, and then the ball went straight into the back of the net, and that was 2-1 to Millwall. And I've got to say, the comeback was complete, and it meant that we had a stage where we could look a lot more comfortable and could easily score some more goals. Now that brings me on to the next point. Gregory then won a penalty for Millwall, as well as tried to play the ball back to the goalkeeper, and unfortunately there wasn't enough power on the ball to fully reach the goalkeeper, and Gregory managed to get onto the end of the ball, dribble up the pitch and get into the box, and that's where he got brought down by their goalkeeper, Hallerstad. Now, due to the challenge and Gregory's chance to score, all I can say is it's almost impossible for the ref not to brandish a red card there. It's kind of upsetting, because the game was practically over anyway. It didn't really make a difference too much whether the goalkeeper got sent off or not. But from there on, Shrewsbury were in a bit of a situation, as they'd used up all their substitutions. And this meant that their midfielder, Demetrio, had to go in goal. And this is a common example of why you don't use all your substitutions. And I do feel quite upset for Shrewsbury there, because it is kind of unlucky. But I don't understand why a defender didn't go in goal. I mean a midfielder, why? Midfielders aren't always the best at defending, but I don't really know why they did that. But obviously Demetrio was in goal. Gregory stepped up to take the penalty, and he slotted the ball in the back of the net to complete Millwall's 3-1 win. Now, what about the key players? Now for Millwall, if you didn't know blatantly who I was going to pick by now, then I really think you should go check the rest of the video and find out, because obviously I'm going to go with Ben Thompson. As I said, I was complaining about him about a minute before he scored that goal, and then he went and scored that fantastic wonder goal. I mean, what a strike. And after that, he started playing like we usually would expect him to play, in a Millwall shirt. And to an actual surprise of mine, who knew that he was that good at dribbling? He had a few dribbles up the pitch, and he actually has got a pretty decent dribbling in his locker at the moment. I've never seen him do that before, and he just had the confidence. It's surprising what a goal can do for you. Anyway, the key player for Shrewsbury, I'm going to have to go with Lionel Cole. He scored that goal and was definitely a threat for the entire game as he created a few chances with his pace, which is a fantastic asset to his game. And all I've got to say is it isn't additional shame for Shrewsbury that he's only on loan from Fulham, because he looks like he could be a fantastic player, and I hope that he breaks through into that Fulham team because he looked like a very decent player for the future. Now, Millwall's next game is on Saturday away from home, and it's actually going to be up against Coventry, a side that a couple of weeks ago were in the playoffs and they were looking very, very strong. Obviously, they did have the goal scorer in Adam Armstrong, the Newcastle loanee, of course, who is definitely a fantastic player and scored a lot of goals. He was the top goal scorer, he's not anymore, but obviously this shows you the decline of Coventry, kind of, because since they've fallen out of the playoffs, they've actually moved down to 13th in the league table, and obviously Nicky Iose has taken over in the top of the goal scoring ranks. Now, I think this game is going to be a very hard game to predict, and I think it's going to be a very hard game for Millwall because we haven't had the best of recent away performances, so I think we really need to improve on that if we are to really challenge Coventry in the game. It's just something to think about because Millwall do need to improve both home and away. I mean, home we've been winning a lot of games recently, but away we're starting to dip where we was performing better away from home than home. But to be honest, I'm not too fussed. I think we're in a decent position at the moment. We could still have to battle for a playoff position, but we are kind of in there at the moment. With about 5 games to go, I think it's looking likely that unless something really bad happens, that we won't be in the playoffs. So anyway, guys, I hope you have enjoyed this Millwall analysis video. Like, comment, subscribe, and of course stay tuned for more Millwall analysis videos. Goodbye.